I have a class that is, it's about a 35-minute class at the end of the day, and it is called an Excel class. Basically, this is a class in which I teach reading skills, reading strategies. We have a school-wide initiative. At the end of the day, we work on particular skills. The students are separated into various classes depending on their county benchmark grades, or our school benchmark grades. So like I mentioned, I teach a section for reading comprehension skills. The students that I have in my classes, I do have a class I have students with behavior concerns. I also have students who are identified as having learning disabilities. And also I have a lot of students who are reluctant readers. So working on the reading skills is really the focus of my class. I usually begin my class with a bell ringer. It's usually a 5-minute bell ringer. And then I go into the reading selections of the day. If we finish that particular day, especially since my classes, is 35 minutes. If we finish, we will answer questions related to the text. Usually, it'll take me 2 class periods to finish a selection. Usually, I pick reading selections from various sources, but my number one source is the Scholastic magazines. I've been using the Scholastic Action magazines very frequently. Number one, because of course the information about the information they use is really geared on the interest level of the students. The magazines, of course, have a good reputation of boosting reading skills, and it's also research based. So I use Scholastic Action a lot. I also use various online resources, Newsela.com and Readworks.com are other sources that I pull reading passages from. Like I mentioned, I usually use reading passages from Scholastic Magazine. This particular reading selection that I want to talk about is actually from a Scholastic Action magazine, but it is a reading theater play. So as I was researching things to use with my students, I needed something that would be just a little bit more different to motivate them. Like I mentioned, they are very reluctant readers, and they do not like to read. So I thought that actually not just reading the reading theater play, but actually acting out the theater play would actually help them comprehend the passage better. So I chose a reader's theater play entitled The Legend of Robin Hood, Adventure Awaits, and is written by Spencer Caden. What I did on the previous day of this lesson, we took the time to analyze the characters. First of all, we talked about the vocabulary. I asked the students were they familiar with the Legend of Robin Hood. So everyone basically said, yes, I'm familiar with the Legend of Robin Hood. Then we talked about the vocabulary. So the vocabulary that was highlighted in this edition was the terms archery, ruthless, enforce, estate, and severs. So we talked briefly about what these words meant, and I asked them to make predictions. So the first thing I usually do, like I always do with all my selections, is we talk about the vocabulary, and we talk about the vocabulary. But if there is any type of image in the selection, I let them view the image, let them analyze it, and make predictions. So they analyzed the image, and there was an image with the story, the reading passage. We analyzed it. We talked about the various things that we saw in the image, and then I brought in the vocabulary, and I asked them, "What do you think archery means? What do you think ruthless means?" And then severs. Severs means to cut thoroughly complete. So I helped them make predictions about what they were going to learn as they read. What are they going to experience as they are reading this reading selection that we have. So the next step was choosing the characters. So we went through the character list, and I asked for volunteers, and I had students who volunteered for the various roles. So that was our first day. That's all we did. We didn't read or anything. We just made predictions. We analyzed the title. We analyzed the vocabulary words, and we analyzed the image that was given to us. So day two was the day that we actually pretended that we were actually characters. We were actors. So we were supposed to make props, but of course we didn't have a lot of time to make props for our selection, which that would have been a great idea. That's usually what I do. I have a day in which the students make props. But that wasn't, time did not allow for us to make props. But everyone had a character. The students who did not have a particular character, they were given roles like being a member of the crowd. So everyone had they had a role. Unfortunately, we did not get to complete the play the first day, but we did complete up to scene 5 of the play. Honestly, I really think that the students got a better understanding of what was going on in this passage just by acting it out, listening to other people portray the characters. Usually when we read selections together, I choose different readers or I read it myself. I have students who are not focused. I have behaviors that go on in the background. But ultimately, at the end of the day, my goal is to help them boost their reading skills. Even if they're not actively involved in the lesson, my goal is to every day talk about a reading strategy, demonstrate a reading strategy. Not just talk about it, but demonstrate it, model it for them. So I know if there's only one reading strategy that they've got down pat, the reading strategy of analyzing images, analyzing the vocabulary word, making predictions. They all have got that one down pat. My goal for this reading selection was, of course, it was a little different, a little more interesting for them, but ultimately to just boost their reading comprehension, boost their appreciation for reading. I would like for them to become better readers, not reluctant readers, but more motivated to read. So reading various types of genre, not just nonfiction, but fiction as well. So basically, I did produce a video, and like I mentioned, this was a little bit different than what I've done before, but the purpose was to read and analyze, and we analyzed a play, use reading strategies to comprehend and analyze the play, which we did, and also the students, if we were to take a oral quiz, if I was to orally quiz them, I do believe that they would be able to correctly answer questions related to this reading theater. All right. Thank you.